Welcome everybody to Pisces Yoga. We had a new moon in Pisces yesterday, and today, even though the moon is shifted into Aries, it's still Pisces season for another week or so. The sun is in Pisces. And if you were here in the Boston, Medford area, you had this very dreamy experience today of like sunshine and then all of a sudden snow, squalls, and then fluffy snow, and now it's sunny again. And that's like exactly what Pisces is. It's like this dreamy state where you're not really sure what's happening. And some of us can be really uncomfortable with that, but Pisces people are here to help us be with that. Pisces rules the feet in the body, so we'll pay some attention to that today, as well as the lymphatic system. And the lymph system has these nodes or centers, right? Especially in the armpit area, the groin, and the throat. So some of the things that we'll be doing and the ways that we'll be moving are trying to kind of squeeze, because the lymph system requires like this pumping motion of squeezing the tissues in order to get the fluids moving. So it's very different than like bringing up your blood, your heartbeat, right? So that's what we focused on today. And another one of the beautiful lessons that Pisces has for us is it's the last sign in the Western zodiac. So it can sometimes have this feeling, and if you know any Pisces, I know my mother-in-law is here, sometimes they can feel a little bit like they have the weight of the world on their shoulders all the time, because they're essentially holding all of the other signs that came before them. And so what I like to do at the end of today's class is a loving kindness meditation, which is like a super sweet thing to not only give loving kindness to yourself, but to others, because there is this lovely sort of loving attitude that Pisces has. And they like to extend that and their joy to everyone. So that's the way that we'll embody Pisces for ourselves. Now, just to remember and to get started, because we're actually going to start standing, I want to remind you what each of the areas are of the body and how they connect to the zodiac. So if you're ready to stand up with me, come on up. I promise we'll give you a chance to lie down. But Aries is the first sign and rules the head. So we say head of the ram, right? Neck of the bull, Taurus. Hands of the twins, Gemini, right? Hands and arms. Chest of the crab, Cancer. Heart of the lion, the back, the upper back and spine. And then the belly of the virgin, Virgo. And then the back of the scales, Libra. And sexy, Scorpio, the sex organs and the reproductive area. And then we have the thighs of the centaur, the knees of the goat, Capricorn, and then the ankles of the water bearer, Aquarius, and then the feet of the fish. And I love the fact that the fish rule the feet, right? Because fish don't have feet, but that's kind of perfect, because often Pisces people, or people with a lot of Pisces in their astrology chart, feel like a fish out of water, right? So they're like fish trying to walk around on land with their feet. So it's kind of perfect, as are you. So we're going to start with a little bit of an experiment. All of this is really an experiment, but I want you being gentle with yourself, because we're just getting started. I want you to slowly come down into a forward fold. Feel free to bend your knees. This is part of our little warm-up exercise. But come on down. You can bend your knees and take your feet as wide apart as you like. But just kind of notice how the back of your legs feel, how your low back feels, how everything feels as you attempt this shape. And again, we're not trying to aim for anything here. I just want you to notice. And then go ahead and escort yourself down to sit. And if you feel more comfortable sitting in a chair, that's fine. And take one of your feet, doesn't matter which one. I mentioned Pisces rules the feet. So you're going to give yourself a little bit of a foot massage here. And there's not really any rhyme or reason to it, but I want you to get into the ball of the foot and the sole of the foot and the heel. Keep going. I'm going to let somebody else in here who's joining us live. And one of my favorite acupuncture points is in the foot. You guys know how much I like to nerd out on acupuncture. So kidney 1, which is called bubbling spring, is in your foot. If you take your finger, one of your fingers, between your second and third toes, and then draw a line down from there to underneath the ball of your foot. So you're kind of drawing down to here where the pad is. Like if your foot was on the ground, that's like the part that touches. And then relax your foot, but kind of poke around there with your thumbs. And you might find it a little bit tender. You might be like, oh, hey, there it is. That's kidney 1, bubbling spring. And you can just make some circular movements with your thumb there to massage it. Bubbling spring, its job is what it sounds like, which is all the energy of the earth is said to enter that point through to the rest of your body. It's kidney 1, and the kidneys are your batteries. So just imagine all of that battery charge coming from the earth up. All right, you're still on only that first foot because that's part of our experiment. Move beyond that point and just make sure you get the rest of your foot, and then come back up to stand in your forward fold. And tell me if you feel a difference in the side of the leg or in the experience on the side where you massaged. Some people report that they feel like that side is more open, the back of the leg feels different, they can stretch more, the other side feels tighter. So just notice what your experience is, and if you don't feel any different, that's also fine. Anybody feel anything? You can go ahead and come down and let's even you out, just in case you did feel a difference. The point of all of this is that, you know, sometimes when we're in a different shape and we're not thinking about the feet, if your feet are warmed up and loosened up, everything else changes, right? So just how important are these lovely feet? They're all the way, far away from our eyes, so we don't often look at them. We may forget them, especially when they're in boots all winter long. So keep massaging that foot. Maybe find your kidney 1 point, your bubbling spring point on the other side. Remember to trace down underneath the ball of the foot to the pad there. Some of you might even have a little bit of a callus because that's where it touches the earth. And you could go to the acupuncturist and they could just have your feet and treat your whole body. That's just, the feet are a window to the rest of you. It's quite amazing. All right, get some other parts of your foot here. Squeeze the heel a little bit. All right, and then stand back up in your forward fold. See if that feels any different. Maybe a little bit looser. All right. And once you've completed your experiment, go ahead and stand up and twist with your arms around your body. So you're going to lovingly hit yourself here. This is sort of that pumping motion that I was telling you the lymph system requires. And you have these lots of nodes, lymph nodes right near your armpit. So go ahead and actually lovingly hit yourself with your hand as you twist near the armpit. The other hand is lovingly hitting the back, which are where your kidneys are. So that's good stuff too. So this is all very purposeful. And if you were 5, you would kind of speed it up, right? So you can go as fast as you like or slow it down. Nice. And then let your arms just hang and dangle to stop. Bring the feet underneath you now. Bring your left arm out to the side. Hold on to your right hip and take a side body stretch. Really open up that underarm side of things. Nice. And then switch sides. Take your right arm up and over. Side body stretch, other side. then come back up to center. Take your feet a little wider. Hold on to the tops of your thighs, and we'll do cat-cow from standing. So round your back, chin to chest, curl up, and then arch the back, look forward slightly, stick your bum out, and go back and forth a few more times. And whenever I do this, I start to feel a little bit more connected through my feet, probably because I'm pushing down on my legs, right? Making them feel heavy. So you might feel your feet against the ground. We've already massaged them a bit, so they might feel closer to the ground, especially without shoes on. Nice. And after your next cat and cow, come on up to stand. Now I'd like to encourage you to walk around a little bit on tiptoes if possible. Skip this if you've done something silly to one of your feet or toes recently, but just tiptoe around your space. How does it feel to be up on part of your foot? And then this is the harder part. Try to walk around on your heels, if possible, without falling over. And it might just be that you hold the wall and just connect with your heels and try to lift the toes off the ground. All right. And now, as long as it feels safe, try to walk on the outside edges of your feet. This is actually good practice so that if you ever catch yourself falling on the edge of your foot, your nervous system doesn't freak out and things don't break quite as easily. Same thing with trying to walk on the inside. It might feel weird just for a second. All right. And then lift your feet back and forth, stomp, stomp, stomp. This is a great way, especially if you have a lot of Pisces energy or you feel like you're floating or a fish out of water, to ground yourself. So as long as there's nobody living below you, make some noise. Sometimes your family members come flying out and concerned. It's okay, you're just doing yoga. All right, and then stop. Notice already some of the energy, some of the blood flow. All right, beautiful. All right, so take your feet wide now for a goddess style pose. So bend your knees, and you can take them as wide as you like. You can also make this less about your legs. Take your arms out in front of you, make a fist, and like you're grabbing the air, pull that fist in towards underneath your armpits. And when you do, exhale with a big ha. So you're gonna reach out, and as you exhale, ha, we call this hara breath. And we're gonna do that a couple of times. So ha, 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 ha. And this pumping action is part of what the lymph system needs to actually get things moving. You can take it a little slower. And if your shoulder doesn't mind, take the arms above your head. So anytime you get the arms above your head, ha, 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 that's going to help the lymph system even more. So you'll notice some of those movements that we do later today. We'll be swinging the arms. If at any point it becomes uncomfortable, you can keep the hands close to the body. Couple more here. Ha, 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 ha. If your legs need a break, straighten them out, but that's part of getting you warmed up. All right, and then go ahead and relax the arms, straighten the legs, and bring the feet in slightly. Oh, nope. Yes. Sorry, had a brain fart there. Take your hands behind you. If possible, interlace them. Otherwise, grab a strap or something that can connect things. And start to hinge forward about halfway. Pause here for a moment. And if you feel safe going down further, let the head lower. So again, the arms and the heart are above the head. This is called Yoga Mudra, or symbol of yoga. And then release the hands towards the floor. Bend your knees again and walk yourself up to hold your hands on your thighs. Take your right hand on your thigh and your left arm up and over for a side body stretch. If it feels more comfortable, you can rest the forearm there. And then open up and switch sides. Either the hand or the forearm rests as your right arm reaches up and over. And go back and forth 1 or 2 more times. And you choose the pace, try to find some flow, try to find a rhythm so you're not forcing the movement too much. And then when you're ready, come back to center. Sit in your chair. You can hold yourself up here. And then straighten the legs. Whew. All right, let's walk around so that your right toes are pointing forward. We're gonna get a little closer to the ground now. And this is where I like a blanket underneath my knee for the low lunge. So if you have a blanket nearby, grab it. And if you have blocks, sometimes that just makes the arms a little bit longer. We're gonna go back and forth here between a half split where you straighten the right leg and a low lunge where you bend the knee. So walking back and forth, again, your hands can help you, or your hands with blocks can help you crawl back and forth. To get the lymph system pumping again, we're going to use the arms. So if you like, when you're in the lunge, reach your arms up overhead. And when you shift your hips back, sweep the arms down and back behind you. Bring the head a little closer to your thigh. And go back and forth. If this is too much, because balance comes into play now too, right? Then keep the hands closer to the ground. And as long as you're breathing as best you can in and out through the nose, there's no special way you need to breathe. Try a few more. Nice. And then switch legs. So drag your right foot back, bring your left foot forward. Low lunge. And I like to start with at least a few with my hands close to the ground so I get my bearings and decide where my feet and knees like to hang out. Notice your level of effort here. Yes, there's effort involved in everything that we do, but can you find a sense of effortlessness, or again, that flow option to add the arms and swing them with you as you go back and forth a few more times. Nice. Okay, go ahead and bring the hands down and slide your left foot back to tabletop. Maybe shake out the hips a little. And then curl your toes under, plant the hands firm, and start to lift the knees and hips for downward facing dog. Again, exposing this area underneath the armpit, chest, bringing some energy through that arm area. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you like. Keep the arms super strong. And if at any point you want to bring the knees down or stay close to the floor, please do. Option to stay right here or take a break. If you're up for it, shift forward to plank. So shift the shoulders forward, keep the body strong. Feel free to lower the knees down. And then lift the hips back to downward facing dog. So this is like the pumping motion we've been doing with our arm swings, except now our hands are glued to the floor. So the rest of the body is going to move. If it feels better to stay close to the ground, maybe you're moving back and forth between a tabletop plank and a child's pose. Try one or two more of these flows between plank and downward dog. Beautiful. And then lower your knees, slide the hips back towards child's pose. And it's okay if they don't slide back very far. Keep the fingertips reaching forward. And if the shoulders don't love that, make more of a V shape with the arms. Notice the rhythm and flow of your own breath, even in this moment of stillness instead of dynamic movement. And then make your way back up to tabletop so that you can step the feet towards the hands and stand in forward fold. Press the feet down into the ground and rise up nice and slow. Sweep the arms out and up overhead and bring the hands together at your heart. Beautiful. So we're going to put all of those movements together into a slow flow. And I don't know if you remember, but we started with our legs in goddess pose. So we're going to start sideways and then move along the way. So goddess pose, we'll do 2 pumps with the hands forward, 2 going up. Whenever you're ready, inhale, hard breath, ha, ha, up overhead, ha, ha. Straighten the legs, bring the feet in, hands behind you, yoga mudra, hinge forward and fold any amount. Take a breath or 2 here, a moment or 2 here. And then release your hands to the floor, bend your knees, and hold yourself up on your thighs. Take your left hand, or excuse me, your right hand on your thigh or your forearm and sweep the left arm over for a side bend. Same thing to the other side. And then come back through center, rise up to stand, turn to the right, lower yourself down for the low lunge here. Sweep the arms up overhead, victorious low lunge, and then sweep the hands down as you straighten the leg, half split, fold forward. Beautiful. Bring the hands to the floor. Your choice, you can step back to tabletop or through downward dog. To switch legs, bring the left foot forward and the right knee down, low lunge, other side. Take your time and sweep your arms up overhead as you're ready. And then shift the hips back, straighten the left leg, fold over. Nice. Bring your hands around the foot again and step back to tabletop or downward facing dog. Shift forward to plank. Modify with the knees down as you like. And then lift the hips, downward dog. Lower the knees to the ground. This time, keep the toes curled under to open the soles of the feet as you shift the hips back for active child's pose. Take a moment here. And when you're ready, crawl your way back up to standing forward bend. Press the feet into the floor and rise up to stand. Sweep the arms out and up and bring the hands together at the heart. Beautiful. All right, let's try one more. So start sideways, goddess pose. We'll do 2 pumps of the arms in each direction. So forward, ha, ha, overhead, ha, ha. Straighten the legs, take the hands behind you, feet parallel, yoga mudra. Hinge forward, lower the head down. And then place the hands on the floor so you can steady yourself, bend your knees, walk your hands back up. Take the side bend to the right. And then side bend to the left. Back to center yourself first, and then straighten the legs. Turn to the right. Lower lunge. So if this time you prefer a little bit of extra heat, you can come up to a warrior 1 style lunge. You're going to sweep the arms up overhead. And same thing, as you straighten your leg in the front, sweep the arms down and bring your chest forward, active pyramid pose. Bend your knee, bring yourself back to your starting position, lunge. And then hands down, step back to switch feet, either tabletop or downward dog. And then take your left foot forward, same thing other side. If you prefer to be closer to the ground, keep it in the low lunge. Otherwise, high lunge, sweep the arms up. Straighten the leg and bow forward, hands sweep behind you. Nice, come back to your starting position, lunge or warrior one. And then hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Take a moment here. And then lower the knees, active child's pose, open the soles of the feet as you bring the hips back. Nice. And then come forward to standing forward bend. There's no rush. Press your feet into the floor and rise up to stand strong, rooted from the feet to your heart. Pause for a moment and notice the energy moving inside of you, around you. Nice. And feel free to shake things out or do a little hula circle with the hips. I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. All right, how are we feeling? Okay, a couple times in the other direction. And then bring your feet underneath you. Shift the weight over to your right foot. And before you take the weight off of the left foot, just really dig that foot into your mat, right? We're not in the dirt or the sand, which is actually really fun to do yoga in the sand because you can let the earth kind of form around the shape of your foot. And then lift the left foot off the ground for crane pose. Your knee will come up. Feel free to grab the knee with the hands if possible, and if it's only one side that can grab, that's fine. Option to stay as you are or turn this into a twist. So holding with the right hand, take your left hand to your hip and turn the trunk to the left. If you prefer to reach the arm back behind you and open up this area of the armpit chest, that can feel great too. Beautiful. And then unwind, step down onto both feet, shake out your standing leg. All right, shift the weight over to the other side, same thing here. Really lift the toes, dig your foot into the mat so you feel really strong and connected there, and then lift the weight off the right leg. Crane pose, other side. Option to grab the knee with one or both hands or take the twist. Hold with the left hand and sweep the right hand to your hip or reach it back behind you. Ooh. Sometimes if you look somewhere else, things get a little hairy, but have fun with it. Stay playful. Nice. All right, unwind when you're ready. Step down on both feet. We'll do that one more time. Shift the weight over to your right foot. Get lighter on the left toes and bring the knee up. Now, if any of you have really monkey long arms, and it might not be everybody, but some of you may be able to reach down for the foot. And even if you're keeping the knee close to your chest, it might be fun to hold on to your foot while you're trying to balance. This is essentially the life of a Pisces. They're like, wait, I'm trying really hard to balance here. We all have our things. I can make fun of my Capricorn self all day long too, and I don't mean to poke fun, but it's hard, right? It's hard to balance while you're holding your foot. But see if you can dig your other foot into the floor. And if none of this is working, just hold on to the knee instead. If any of you want to try extending the leg slightly, this is called standing hand to big toe pose. So traditionally you'd kind of hook the big toe with one of your hands, but whatever works. And if none of it works and you fall over, that's part of the fun. If you are in a place where you're holding the foot and you're comfortable holding it with your opposite hand and turning and twisting, much like we did with the hand on the knee, you can try that. Otherwise, standing twist with the hand on the knee is a beautiful, beautiful choice. If you stopped breathing or smiling, start again. Nice. And then unwind all of that. Ooh, your other leg might be hollering. Give that hip some love. All right, and then let's try this fun on the other side. So dig your left foot into the proverbial sand that is your yoga mat, and then play with balancing on that side. Lots of options. Hold the knee, don't hold the knee. Take the twist, don't take the twist. Reach for the foot, play with that. Or not is always a good choice. And then if you want to play with straightening the leg, or not. This is more mechanics than it has to do with anything else. So the size of your torso in relation to the length of your leg bones, it's not about stretchiness. And if you want to take a twist anywhere along the way, do what feels good now. And then when you've had enough fun, unwind. Thank both of your hips for all the work that they're done. And then let's take a standing wide angle forward fold, this time without the hands behind, so that you can move and bend the knees a little bit side to side. So if you're up a little higher, maybe it looks like this. I'm trying to get a little bit of spaciousness for the inner thigh and groin area. Another one of those areas where there's a lot of lymph nodes located. If you're closer to the ground and it feels comfortable to bend your one knee deeply, you can bring out your inner yogi ninja and crawl back and forth on your mat. It's at your own pace. There's no magic about that. All right, the next time your right knee is bent, walk your hands around in that direction, and then lower the knees together and curl up into child's pose. Feel how here the slight compression of the belly and the torso against the thighs kind of squeezes that area of the inner leg and groin near where the hip flexors are. And as you breathe in, you might feel your belly kind of fill and expand and add some extra squeezy pressure, even though it might feel quite gentle. And then carefully make your way up to sit. Extend your legs out in front. Shake it out. And then roll all the way down onto your back. This is where you can hold on to the feet, or you can hold on to the knees. If you were a baby in its crib, you'd be playing with your feet. So if they're within reach, grab on. Notice the toes. You might even kind of pull the toes back and stretch them out. They've been hiding in boots for a while. And then in spring, we start to flip-flop between footwear, which the feet do not appreciate. All right, go ahead and let the feet come down on the floor for bridge pose. So heels close to your buttocks, and feet underneath the knees, arms down alongside the body. And when you're ready, push the feet down and lift the hips up, any amount away from the floor. Now you could lift and hold because of this pumping action that can be really helpful for the lymph system, specifically If you want to lift and lower and bring out your inner Jane Fonda, at the top, squeeze the glutes and then lower yourself down. Now you don't have to take this fast to get that pumping benefit. Let's take it at your own pace. Maybe try 2 more. 1 more. And then lower down, stretch your whole body long on the floor. Watch out for anything that might be in the way. And then pull your left knee in towards your chest. Curl your nose up towards it just for a moment. Engage those belly muscles for a second. And then rest your head down, wind relieving pose. Take another breath in. And squeeze knee into chest. Again, that squeezing action near the groin. The lymph nodes there. And then hold the knee with your opposite hand, your right hand. Take your left arm out to the side on the ground, shoulder height, and roll over onto your right side for a twist. Now it's entirely up to you if you leave your shoulder on the ground or if you let it lift. Everybody feels different about that. But see if you can find that stretch through the underside of your arm. If the elbow's a little straighter and you reach the left fingertips out away from the leg that's in the twist, you might get that sensation there. And then unwind yourself. Come back through to center. Straighten your whole body long again. Arms overhead, legs up. And then pull your right knee in. Bring your nose up towards your knee. And then rest your head down. Wind relieving pose. Take a breath. And squeeze knee to chest. Prepare for the twist now on the other side. So with your left hand holding the knee, draw it across the body to roll onto your left side and reach out through the right fingertips. Slowly unwind yourself, straighten your whole body long. 1 more time. And then squeeze into a tight ball. Nose up towards your knee. And then roll to one side. Pause there for just a moment. When you're ready, press your way up to sit. And this is where you might cover yourself with additional layers or grab your blanket or your pillow. And I'll show you what we're going to do next. So for some of you, you may decide to come into legs up the wall. If you do that, I like having a little bit of a folded blanket underneath my low back. If you prefer using your bolster, that's a great option too. You're going to place that blanket close to the area of the wall where you're going to go up, and then make sure there's nothing in your way here. Now, the most graceful way to do this seems kind of odd, but if you slide up as close as you can with one shoulder next to the wall, then you're going to lean back in towards the center of the room and cartwheel your legs up. That's when you can slide the blanket underneath your bum. And really, you don't need to be super close to the wall. Most people don't like their legs flush against the wall unless they're like gymnasts and they can handle their legs being straight in a forward fold with no problem. Right? But for most people, a little bend in the knees, a little space away from the wall. And then if you get here and you decide, you know what, it's not really my thing, or you don't have a space to do that, We'll set you up with supported fish pose. So if you have that same blanket and you unfold it so that you can roll yourself a little bit of a cylinder shape, place that down on your mat near where your head would be, and then keep your butt on the floor. But support your spine with the blanket so you have a little bit of a lift in the chest and your arms can kind of snuggle around that blanket. You can also do the same thing with a bolster. And if you decide you'd rather do it with 2 blocks, you can set them up with a medium and a high block and then roll over, right? So if you've already found your happy place, awesome. I'm just giving you lots of options. And fish pose, right? Because feet of the fish, Pisces. Nice lift of the chest and support there. If you're in the legs up the wall, it's a great way to actually get the feet to take a break because they're usually in the opposite position with all the energy running down, right? So by taking them up against the wall, you're giving them a break. We'll be here for several minutes together. And then I'll invite you to come out of the pose if you like and shift into Shavasana before we do the loving kindness meditation at the end. So lots of time. Please be comfortable. And wherever you are, take a breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and sigh it out. And even though your body has stopped flowing from one yoga posture to the next, can you still find a sense of flow here in this moment? Maybe with your breath, maybe with your thoughts, flowing from one to the next. And can you be in that flow here with a sense of ease or effortlessness? If you're in legs up the wall and your feet get a little tingly, point and flex them gently a few times. Bring some blood back in to the toes. And if you have found a sense of peace in this pose, you can stay as long as you like. If you'd like to transition to a few moments of lying on your back, hug the knees in and roll to the side, either away from the wall or off of your blanket fish roll. And then take your time, make space and take up space on the ground. Cover yourself with a blanket to stay warm. When you find a comfortable resting shape, take another cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And if it's comfortable, take at least one hand to your heart. Pisces being a water sign, this time of year, or if you have a lot of Pisces in you, can be very emotional. You can feel what others feel and feel deeply. And so allow the warmth of your hand to soothe your heart. You might even say to it, it's okay. It's okay. Notice your breath flowing in and flowing out. And start to feel the flow in all the way to your fingers, to your toes. And curl up into a ball on one side for a moment. Take your time. Often after relaxation or sleep, there's this sort of haziness. And there's a beauty to that. So stay in the haziness as you come up to sit, and feel free to sit up against a wall or feel supported in any other way. Loving kindness meditation is one of the ones that I prefer to do seated. For some reason, I find that if my head is down, it doesn't work the same way, but you can certainly try it lying down. Have your hands on your lap so you stay connected with yourself. If it's comfortable, keep the eyes closed and simply tune into your breath. And let your breath be as sweet and natural as possible. In and out through the nose. And with loving kindness meditation, we start with the self, kind of like put the oxygen mask on yourself first. So as you continue breathing naturally, repeat these words softly to yourself. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. And may I be safe from harm. May I know happiness. And the true root of happiness. May I know ease and well-being. In body, mind, and spirit. Notice what it feels like to wish yourself well. The same way you might speak to a young child. And now from this place of being filled with loving kindness, extend loving kindness to someone else. I always say the first person that pops into your mind is the right one, whether you know them or not, whether they're alive or far away. And hold this person in your mind and say to yourself, may you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe from harm. May you know happiness. And the true root of happiness. May you know ease and well-being. In body, mind, and spirit. Notice what it feels like to wish this person well, no matter your relationship. And finally, extend loving kindness to all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be safe from harm. May all beings know ease and well-being. In body, mind, and spirit. Notice what it feels like to wish all beings well. Bring your hands to your heart and thank yourself. Thank your heart. Thank all of your emotions for all of their guidance and teachings. Thank your body for doing what it knows how to do without you even thinking about it. And thank yourself for creating this space of healing and health and wellness to practice. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you and your presence here tonight. And I wish you a wonderful rest of the day.